Douglas.
Thanks. I just wanted to address what Dennis said again. I know it was addressed already, but just saying I think there's fairly strong, compelling reasons to believe that forests do cool the planet. And obviously there are multiple mechanisms involved. The challenge here, and I guess what you're alluding to, is that some of these ideas are still controversial. And whether that should slow us down and we need to prove that it works or not. I mean, this is, I guess, one of the points that we could discuss. How would you do that? But I actually think the evidence is fairly strong. I mean, particularly if I think what Rob you were talking about the heat rising higher in the atmosphere and how that is finally lost to space. Those processes are not well understood, is my understanding, and also these global circulation patterns. How are they currently determined by land cover? What's the role of land cover in these processes? We know that once you're in the northern latitudes, you actually get more heat coming up, as it were, from the tropics than is actually captured locally just by what you get in sunshine. These circulation processes are quite strong, and obviously, if you disrupt these circulation patterns, this will have both local effects but also global effects on how this energy is radiated back into space. And I think people don't have a clear understanding of these things yet, partly because these circulation patterns are not. They're not a result of the current global climate models or the global circulation models. These are things that are built into the models rather than variables that are allowed to respond to real physics, as it were. And I'm rushing slightly, but one point I wanted to make as well, going back to the rainfall effects, I think something to really underline for those who are not following the literature, something that I think is very profound, is about a year ago, there was a very important article published by Smith et al. This is from Spracklin's group in Leeds in the UK, where they looked at global deforestation figures across the tropics particularly, and showed a very clear link, particularly at larger scales, between tree cover and rainfall. This is the discussion we were having earlier. There is that link, so that's really not unclear. At local scales, yes, it's noisy because you're disrupting these flows, you're disrupting where water's coming from, and two, when you disturb the global circulation patterns or the local circulation patterns, obviously the same amount of rain is still falling somewhere, and that can mean more in some places. But overall, you're seeing a decline. Now, the other point I want to make in that study is they were really clever in looking also at the climate models. And when they compared the climate models to say, is this also what we see in the climate models? The answer was no. So it's not in the models. And these are the models that we're using at the moment in the IPCC, right? These are what we're using to predict the future. So the very pattern we're talking about, the very relationship that we're concerned about, is not in the models. It's not reflected in the models. So I think just to underline this really strongly, because I think a lot of people say we know this, it's already in there, etc. No, it's not. That was a fairly conclusive article. The empirical data shows a very clear link. The models do not show this. So I just wanted to sort of underline that we do have a mission here to actually get the science out.
Thank you.
Can you give that reference, please?
Smith et al. Nature. I'll send it to you. Yeah.